This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
Yeah, love the new intro there. Producer Mike bringing out a new video as we come to a Sunday edition of Halas All Report. Pre-game edition with no pre-game to pre-game for. Can we please get a game sometime soon? Good morning, Mike. How you doing? Unmute yourself, brother.
Good morning. Yeah, I'm doing good.
Yeah, we're going to get some games here shortly. So NFL news, Bears news, really not much going on right now. However, there is news that somehow, in a way, kind of affects the Bears, right? Jared Goff gets his monster contract in Detroit. A lot of people said, oh, they overpaid. We've been talking about it on the open mic, on the morning show. According to Spotrac, they overpaid by about $10 million a year. But according to what other quarterbacks are getting, and now we've seen the fine print, Goff's contract is kind of in line. He's getting now the average like 47, 48. What's going to be interesting, though, how it's going to affect the rest of the division, more so the Green Bay Packers, right? Jordan Love needs a contract. So, I mean, not our team, but affects us. What kind of money do you think Jordan Love gets now that Goff got basically $47 million a year?
Well, I don't think it'd be quite as much just because he hasn't really done anything. Yeah, he went to the playoffs. He went deep. That's about it. Can he make it to the big games? Jared Goff made it to one Super Bowl. He's made it to an NFC Championship game now. So he's well deserved of that money.
Morning, Matt.
Now, can Jordan Love do the same? That's the question.
I don't know. Packer fans seem to think Love is worth more than Goff. And they'll say, yeah, but we groomed him. The process, we groomed him and we got him there. Good morning, Walter. We've groomed him. He balled out last year. And if we wait, it's going to cost us north of 60. If we waited, because remember, this is a contract year. So if they don't get something done by week one, there's nothing until free agency. Because, who does in-season contracts anymore?
That was one season. Jared Goff has been doing it for multiple seasons.
I understand.
Yeah, but the value, the price tag on a quarterback's high. Look at Justin Fields right now. He's a backup, and he's still at 45?
47.
So you got to say Jordan Love is right around that area. And if you look at the stats, Love's better than Fields. I'm not saying he's better in golf or anything with the stats, but at the end of the day, it's a new. What's that?
What if it's just a one-year thing?
Well, so
it's going to be a one-year thing.
So that's the thing, Mike. I mean, that's the thing. You're right. What if it's a one-year thing? And that's the problem. I think here is Gutekunst's biggest issue, right? When they drafted Love, the plan probably was, in their mind, that Rodgers stuck around for 2, maybe 3 more years. The problem became he stayed around for what? 4.
4 years.
So last year, instead of a 5th-year option, they do a 1-year extension, so a 2-year deal, right? He's entering the final year of that right now. They could franchise tag him, but the franchise tag is going to be damn near $50 million next year for the exclusive tag. They could transition tag him, and that's still going to be in the mid to high 40s next year. So, but they have to pay him. And Mike's right. What the price of a starting quarterback in this league is stupid high. Tua's already reportedly turned down an offer from Miami. They're saying Trevor Lawrence is get north of 50. And you could argue Love is better than Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I would say
But the problem Goody has is, I think originally he thought he'd get 2 full years of game time to, say, evaluate Love and then pay the man a good contract if he's worth it. The problem he has now is he has 1 year. He's got to pay him, or he could possibly lose him to a team like Las Vegas, which there's some buzz about that happening, by the way. So they're going to have to spend more money now. I mean, every day that goes on, I think costs them more money. If Tua signs a contract where he's getting 54, 55 mil a year, if Lawrence signs a contract where he's getting 55, 56 mil a year, each of these contracts doesn't go up in price. I think at the end of the day, Jordan Love is going to be in the mid 50s if they wait. If they wait too long, they could end up having to pay Jordan Love 58 mil a year average. I don't think he's worth 58 mil an year average. I don't think fan out there think he's worth 60 or I think most Packer fans, 48, given the current market, fine. But at this rate, they're going to be in the mid 50s. So what does that do to the Packers being able to do?
Yeah, we're only paying them $11 million for this season.
You're right. Yeah, still the Packer fan. If you're a Mike Bear fan, there because they're in the same room. So that's 11 million. Obviously, they'll do if they do an extension like Goff. They'll say like Goff when they came out, they said it was 4 years, 212. It's actually a 5-year deal because they incorporated this year into it, right? The 4-year extension, so 5-year total years under contract. I think if Jordan Love they do something with him, it'll be 4 at 250, but that'll include this year, so it's actually 5 at like 260, 261, 262. Incorporating this year. And then the way they break down the fine print, like next year the Packers have $57 million on the cap. The next, even if they say, well, it's a $56 million a year average, it'll end up being like 30 to 40 mil on the cap and not all of it. So, but they're going to have to spend a truckload of money now on Jordan Love. And that's good for the Packers.
That's any quarterback really nowadays.
Yeah.
Honestly, anybody average and better, and sometimes not even that. Because, I mean, think about it. Look at Watson with that big deal. What has he done since that deal?
Nothing, and it was all guaranteed.
That's what I was about to say.
That's going to be the problem. I don't think they're the same player. I think Jordan Love is a hell of a lot better than Sean Watson. But you don't want that situation to come up.
Right, but me too. But when the Watson thing happened, it kind of reset the quarterback range, and then all of a sudden it just started increasing. It did never decrease. It just
Danny Dimes
more and more and more. He's not
Danny
worth
Dimes
it.
gets 45. Everyone gets it. Just keeps growing higher because I'm better than him. I should get more. Matt asked a good question though. Which one should be the highest paid? Goff, Love, Lawrence, Tua, or Dak?
Goff.
What do you think, Mike?
Man, Tua's hurt. Like that's out. He can't stay healthy. Lawrence is pretty new, so I'm not going to say him, even though he's on a contract situation coming up pretty soon. Dak hasn't done much in Dallas, so I mean, Goff. I would say Goff.
Yeah.
But so he's not even all that either to say he should be the next highest. I don't think any of these quarterbacks should be the next highest.
So the problem with Dak is, I mean, look, you play fantasy football, you love Dak. He gets you a great amount of points during the football year, but they can't win playoff games. Tua last year he wasn't hurt. He had a good year. He had a pretty good year last year. The team as a whole faltered down the stretch. I don't know if you put that on Tua or not. Lawrence. He has revitalized Jacksonville, but down the stretch last year, they faltered, right? And I don't know if you and Lawrence was part of that faltering. Love, you've got 1 year of work in the league that you can see of starts.
Yeah, but you got to also take in consideration not sticking up for them. They don't really have a number one real big wide receiver. They're all young and they did well.
Well, no, Tua does. Tua has
Waddle. I was saying Love.
Yeah, Love has a receiver by committee and a really good head coach, offensive coordinator.
I mean,
Tua, that made them look good.
I mean, you got Hill. No excuse.
You got Hill, got Waddle. Now he's got Odell.
Yeah, Odell. Dak's got guys. Lawrence.
Yeah.
Lawrence, not as much. He's got Etienne.
Ridley,
not as much. I mean, Goff's one of the best receivers in football.
I mean, if you look at what they did last season playoff-wise, well, yeah, Goff. And Goff's made a Super Bowl in the past, but we're not paying him for what they did in the past. We're paying him for what they're going to do in the future. So that's the tough one. And I know Packer fans are love, love, love. All you need is love because of what he did last year. So they're big. I don't know how to answer that, Matt, because they all are going to get paid. Will the Bears make the playoffs? We'll get to that. Yes, Damon, they will, and then we'll talk more about that in a second. But to finish off on the quarterbacks here, if you want to base off last year, Goff. If you want to base it off of projections, I would have to say Love or Tua.
No, Love better. Tua,
I mean,
we just saw what Tua in the playoffs in the cold. He cannot
like I
play.
said, when I'm basing on what he might be able to do in the future, I think Tua's got a better shot of going further than Love does this year, next year, with the team he's got. Love, I've got 1 year of work to, and so is it a 1 year? Is it Mitch Trubisky 2018, where then 2019 he's like, and 2020 you're like, okay, get rid of him, or is it sustainable for Love? That's the hard part. That's the hard part for Gutekunst and the Packers. They have to make a big dollar purchase based on a very small showing 1 year. All these other quarterbacks have multiple years. You've seen ups, you've seen downs, you've seen flashes, right? I think Tua, though, has the highest upside of all of them right now. More than Lawrence, more than Dak, because Dak just self-destructs in the playoffs. Tua, though, it was more of a team destruction. The defense really gave it up in the playoffs against the Chiefs. It wasn't that the offense was throwing, that the Tua was giving the ball away. I think Tua probably has a higher upside, but Love will get the most money. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Let's go to Damon because he asked the question. So we've got more than enough time with just the three of us this morning. Will the Bears make the playoffs? What do you think, Mike?
They have to make the playoffs. Third easiest schedule with these weapons in our defense. If Caleb fails, it'll be his own doing. Yes, it's his rookie season, but you got everybody hyped him up to be this guy, so he's got to come in and be that guy.
What do you think, Mike, Bear fan?
I think we're going to be better than last year. I mean, it is on paper. I'm not saying we're going to have a 12 or 13 game win season because I know I watched a podcast yesterday on some division rivalries. I won't say what podcast. And
no, look,
I don't think they lost for 2 or 3 games, and I disagree with that.
Every fan
reaching for the stars. Some of us fans reach for the stars. I hear you, Ken. But no, I think we're a 9-win season for sure. I wouldn't be surprised if we could do the 10-win season. I see Bears, Packers, and Lions could be a 10-win season for all 3 teams.
Yeah.
The national media never gives the NFC North any kind of love, or the NFC Central back when it was the Central. We don't. It's all about East Coast and West Coast teams. The North never gets love. Period. In 2006, when the Bears went to the Super Bowl, we didn't even crack the top 3 in the power rankings, and we went to the Super Bowl, won the division, won the NFC, and no love. We don't get. Must have listened to Homer's podcast yesterday. I'll get to that in a second too, Matt.
I think Matt was watching actually.
Yeah, but even national media, who normally does not give the North much love, Fox Sports came out and actually had the Bears, the Packers, and the Lions all making the playoffs this year. Now, this is all the way too early to predict stuff, right? And to go to Matt's comment and Mike's comment, must have listened to Homer's on podcasts. I say, look, I've watched a couple different Lions podcasts. I've watched a couple different Vikings podcasts. I've seen a couple Bears podcasts. I've seen some Vikings podcasts. Everyone's winning 12 or 13 games in this division. Everyone is. That's what all the fans are saying. And look, that's fine. They can all think that. We all think that. I think if we win less than 10 games, for the Bears, if we win less than 10 games this year, it's a travesty and it's a waste, because I think this team wins 10 games with Justin Fields. So if you're going to get rid of Justin Fields and bring in Caleb, then in my mind, he needs to A, already be better than Justin Fields, and B, have a higher upside than Justin Fields. Or why do this whole exercise in switching out your quarterback and bringing in a quarterback on what is now a finished team, or as close to a finished team as possible? Good morning, Yoli.
Well, all season they've been upgrading that offense, and we never upgraded an offense for offensive weapons in a long time. I can never remember the Marshall and Jeffrey.
We didn't even draft a defensive player until we traded back into the 5th round. We were ready to walk away from the draft with not drafting defense. That never happened.
Right. We lost St. Brown, which we gained Allen, which he's coming off his best season of his career.
Yep.
I feel like we upgraded in Foreman's position.
Yeah.
Swift, I mean, and then getting Rome, that was by far the best wide receiver that we have even on our bench. He's up there.
That was our biggest problem. The number 2 and number 3 receivers.
Yeah,
we had Mooney and Scott. Neither one can catch.
Matt brings up a great point. He goes, the weapon Caleb Latana is insane for a number 1 pick. And I was saying this yesterday on open mic. Because people will say, "Oh, he's going to make rookie mistakes." Blah 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 blah. A guy like Stroud's very rare. I'm like, but dude, name me a quarterback who, as a rookie, came into the league with a complete of a team as this, where you have legitimately the best wide receiving room in the league, as reported by CBS, Fox, ESPN. They're all saying it, right? Which is so rare to hear the Bears get any kind of love. But one, if not the best in the league, one of the top 3 to 5, let's say at worst, right? You've got an upgraded running back room over last year, which was already top 10. You have an upgraded tight end room, which was already, pretty high up there. You have a defense that was number 1 against the run last year, top 10 overall, probably going to be top 5 overall this year. You have a team that's built to contend for a Super Bowl now, plug in a quarterback. He happens to be a rookie. The closest I can get to a comparison is Patrick Mahomes. And even Patrick Mahomes, when he came in, thank you, Matt, when he came in, wasn't a rookie. He had sat for a full year, right, when they went to the playoffs the year before. That's the closest I can come to someone. I mean, someone said Herbert out in L.A., and he had a decent receiving core. He had 2 good receivers. He had a really good tight end. He had a pretty decent running back. They had a pretty decent defense, but not nearly as good as what Chicago has right now. Find me he can come in this season and 10 games should be, even with rookie mistakes. This team is, like Matt is saying, this team is built to win right now. Right. And the last piece of the puzzle was the quarterback.
Yeah, and what set this up is, I want to say thanks to 3 people, one of them being an organization. Thanks for Ryan Poles doing the moves that he did. Thanks for Carolina for trading us more in a 1st-round pick to get our quarterback. And Lovie Smith for saying basically the organization, say, hey, you're fired. Okay, I'm going to win. Now that's what pretty much put us in that situation. Because if they would have lost and not won, we would have never got the number 1 pick.
Matt,
that's what I was thinking. Caleb gets the 3rd easiest schedule. How can you not get at least 10 wins? You're not coming into a hard. Now, we would have won 10-7 last season. We would come into a harder schedule. But then it'd be a different story. Do we keep Justin or we go about Caleb? Obviously that didn't happen. But you know who else came into a great situation as a rookie this year? And that's JJ McCarthy.
Yeah, but he's not going to play.
I don't think he's going to play much this year. But to answer Matt's question, I don't know if you guys got any input on it, but 4,000 yards is reaching for the stars in my view. I'm good with just over 3,000 to 3,500 his first year. 4,000 would be great, but I think that's reaching for the stars.
You know what? I mean, I agree with you, Mike. I think if he can get anywhere between 32 to 3,500, that's a phenomenal rookie year. Better than anything Justin had done. If he gets 4,000, that's like, if he gets 4,000 yards, the NFL is on notice and everyone's shitting their pants. Because if he throws for 4,000 yards, right, that means the Bears are probably winning a shitload of games and they're running away with this division.
Maybe not a shitload of games, but we're throwing the ball more than we ever have.
Yeah.
I mean, Sam Howell threw over 4,000 yards, but he was always running behind. so they had to throw.
Well, that's true too. But I mean, Sam Howell, that was a lot of his yards were in the early part of the year. I like, by the way, that Sam Howell is up, and we had a Seattle fan. I like Sam Howell in Seattle. I think he's going to end up taking over for Geno Smith at some point. But yeah, Matt says, look, we got Carolina, we got Washington, we got New England, we got Arizona. 4 of the worst teams in 2023. However, though, I'll caution you, Matt, with Arizona, there are 2 different teams. There was a team with Kyler Murray, and then there's a team without Kyler Murray. And they're a much, much, much better team with Kyler Murray. And now they lost Hollywood Brown, who was off injured, unfortunately, but they replaced him with Marvin Harrison Jr. Of the 4, Arizona is the best of the 4. Yeah, Washington has defensive issues. New England has issues all over the place. And Carolina still has no receiving corps to speak of, really. So, yeah, that's at least 3 wins. I think Arizona is going to beat a lot of teams this year. And Matt, you're right. Caleb has better weapons than CJ did in Houston. But 4,000 yards, if he gets 4,000 yards, it's a big season. It's a big season. The Bears will be going places. The defense, and that's the difference. Like Sam Howell had the defense that Caleb has. Like Washington, especially when they trade out Sweat and they trade out Young, that defense went away, and so they were throwing a lot. You're right. Yeah, Matt says the Buckeye Harrison Jr. is the real deal. He is the real deal. But I think there's one thing, though, that we're all forgetting, and that is, I got 2 bear down mics. They had to switch. Oh, musical mic. There he is. So, the one thing we're all forgetting, though, with these predictions is this, and we talked about it last night on open mic. We're all looking at the schedule based on what we did last year and based on how teams played, and then we're trying to formulate, okay, we're going to win 10, 11, 12, 13 games, whatever. No one has really, I don't think, really thought about the impact. Oh, here's Woody. Beautiful. Good morning, Woodward. Here's the big impact. What impact does a new kickoff rule have on the game this year? It could be significant. It could change a lot of games because of this rule. And I don't think we're really grasping its full complexity or how it's going to change NFL games this year. What do you think, Woody?
I think there's going to be more kickoff returns for a touchdown because the kickoff team doesn't have a running start. You have to run after the player catches the ball. All the punt returners, kickoff returners got to do is just literally hold their guy, but block their guy, move them off to the side quick, let that guy go right up the gap. These it's a big advantage for the return team.
So I think that's going to be a game changer because you got some teams like Matt was saying, hey, we play Carolina, Washington, New England, Arizona. These teams suck. Well, if Carolina has a return guy who's going to put up a touchdown, that changes the game. Mm-hmm. Look at Devin Hester for us, the 06 season. We won games based just off his returns. So now that was a good defense, a shitty offense. That's going to take some teams who maybe are offensively challenged and give them, shall we say, more hope, more life, more scores, more points, and negate some of these good defenses to a degree, right?
I'm still interested in seeing what they're going to do for the onside kick. Because now
you got to tell them in advance.
Yeah, you got to tell them in advance. Yep.
This is going to be. I don't see this lasting 1-2 years. That the element of surprise for a team that's down that wants to come back or just fuck around and just do an onside kick. That is stupid rule.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you because you can't just go out the gate because I forgot what team did it last year. They were pretty deep on the ball, and the kicker barely kicked it 10 yards and got it. That was a good heads up. Even though that was a play call to kick it deep, he didn't. He took advantage of the player being deep. You can't do that anymore. There's no guesses. There's no, hey, I'm going to onside it, at the blue. Like you literally got to tell them, and I don't really like that either. But I think it's going to be more returns for touchdowns because, like you said, Woody, all you got to do is hit the gap. It's like offensive line. Once you hit that second deck, there's nobody in the second deck.
Donovan Bayless is staying on the team.
I was thinking about this too. Man, they better get a kicker that knows how to tackle. They might as well work on it now.
Here's the other thing too with the rules. So if there's what they call now the landing zone. So if the ball drops through the landing zone, it goes on the 40. If it goes to the end zone, it untouched, it goes. Whereas the ball lands in the end zone or just sails out in the end zone, never touching, it goes on a 35. If the ball were, say, to hit the 5-yard line, roll through the end zone, it goes on the 20. Right? So I think you're going to see, we're already talking with our new punter. They're talking about design plays with him kicking because he's so good at, dropping the ball on the 5-yard line, 2-yard line. Because now if you can drop the ball on the 2-yard line and it rolls to the end zone for a touchback, it goes on a 20 like the old days. On the flip side, though, now you're hearing talk of design plays for return. Like, we all heard, everyone said, oh, look, Justin Fields is now going to be returning. Look at you, Steely Bears fans. You know what, though? If that happens out there in Pittsburgh, dude, you can run design plays with him. He can, if he receives the ball, he could backwards pass it to another runner on the other side where the coverage is lighter. Or if there's a gap, he can hit the gap and go. He's fast enough. He's a good runner, sure. You're going to see Tyreek Hill maybe get returns. Because if you're a speed guy, you hit that gap, you're gone. No one's catching you.
That's just like KC on drafting that receiver that broke the record for the 40-yard
speed.
Well, here's the other question about kickoffs, though. Because you know how the kick has to go at least 10 yards. Are they making a new rule about that the guy has to kick it fully? Or can he just kick it 10 yards?
Well, no squib kicks, you're saying?
No. Remember, you know how a regular how a regular onside kick has to go 10 yards before.
Right. Yeah, right before anybody starts it.
Now, if you don't mention it, and I don't see this happening, but if you don't mention it and that kicker kicks it more than like 11 yards, can he recover that?
No.
That's just stupid.
Because everybody else is downfield, so no.
Because the whole idea of this, now they're like, 5 yards apart, right? So the whole idea is that you don't get these guys who are running for 30 yards, full head of steam into a guy, tackling and creating injury. That's the idea. So I think, though, because of that, now you're going to see your top tier players even doing returns like kickoff. You're going to see Tyreek Hill because look, he's going to get tackled, but no worse than to get tackled in the open field after making a catch. Actually, you could argue for these wide receivers, it's going to be less dangerous to do a kickoff than to catch the ball in the middle.
A lot more linemen possibly too, because they're blockers.
So you're going to see speed guys like Tyreek Hill. You're going to see guys like Justin Fields who can run or even do throw a good backwards pass to a speed guy where, let's say, if the whole protection's skewing left, he throws it to the right. Now the guy's got a whole field to run. You're going to see you can see stuff. You can see punters who may be doing kickoffs because they can drop the ball on the 2-yard line. You're going to see guys looking for that 2-yard line so that hopefully it hits and goes right out the end zone so it teams up on the 20. You're going to see starting field position probably around the 35 to 40 every time now.
Yeah, I trust Torrey Taylor to tackle better than Trenton Kill, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Torrey Taylor's a big guy.
Well, I don't want Santos tackling either.
No, I don't want Santos. That's what I'm saying. That's the reason I might not see place kickers. Your Butkers and your Santos and those guys like that, kicking off anymore because putting it through the end zone actually costs you 15 yards. So you don't want the big leg anymore. You want a guy who can drop it on the 2-yard line and hope that it hits the ground, then bounces through the through the end zone for a touchback. So the whole game has changed that, right? And they want more excitement. They want more Devin Hester. Like, great, give us the old rules back in the day. Oh, but then people might get hurt. It's football. Live with it, right? I mean, it's hilarious. Yeah, our new punter is a big man.
Yep.
He's no Sebastian Janikowski, but he's pretty damn close. So I think that's going to change the win totals. And that's making predicting this year a lot harder because there are going to be games that are going to be there's going to be a team that people are going to think, oh, yeah, these guys might be middle of the road at best, who may end up now being a playoff team because they nail kickoffs this year.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to it. I mean, we're probably like I said, I think we should put Velus Jones back there, not somebody so important. But he's also gave us a lot of good field position last year. And
I think that's why he stays on this team. That's why he stays on this team, I think. It's because
he's got pictures on somebody. That's why he's on this team.
Yeah, I don't see why he's on the team either. I'm with Mike on this one.
I'm with Woody though, and as a return guy, he always gave us good field position. I think Woody's got a point there. Like Velus, his only job now is return. That's it. Yep. He's going to be that's all his job in the league. He's not going to get signed anywhere else, but because he's a good return guy. Anywhere else though, he's kind of a suspect.
Or that goddamn end around play.
He's going to have to battle with Pettis if that's the case, because Pettis is a return man too.
Yeah. Pettis will make the team.
How do you say his name here? Tell him.
Caleb should have 11 wins or more. Well, I don't want to pronounce his name now anyway.
Telling it like it is. Telling it like it is.
I'm not trying to pronounce that name. I
don't. Listen, these people, they're basing it off of their college and stuff. He wasn't that good even though he won the Heisman. Who gives a fuck? I would have picked 3 quarterbacks before him this year.
Yeah, but Woody, I think that people are somewhat making the argument because he's coming to a team that's basically complete.
So then any quarterback would have came in with this.
Exactly. I think I think anything less than 10 wins is a bad year because I think you got 10 wins with Fields. So if you're going to draft this guy and trade Fields, then he needs to A, already be better than Fields, and B, have a higher ceiling. So anything less than 10 wins is a bad year. 11 wins is like polls and say, "See, I told you so."
Well, like I said, Justin Fields when he was in college. Do you ever see his fucking highlights? Amazing. The ball, he can read a defense, but sometimes when he went into the NFL, people say he can't read a defense. So I want to see Caleb Williams first half of the year to make my declaration of how good this guy is. I don't want to declare it now. Jesus Christ, preseason didn't even start yet.
Hey, producer Mike is letting me hold on. Producer Mike is letting me know we need to play a commercial real quick. So Mike, do your thing, and we're gonna play this commercial. We'll be right back.
Do your roofing commercial, Mike.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
All right. Well, and this next part of the show is brought to you by Jeremy B's favorite sponsor, FTP. Guess what? The Packers. Okay, that's a joke aside. Mike, you were about to say something. Go ahead with it.
Well, Justin also had 3 number 1 receivers, all-star receivers, and Garrett Wilson, Jackson Smith and Jigba, and what's his name? From Saints. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Olave, yeah.
Listen, like I said, this is why, and I don't want to cut you off, Mike, but this is why I go by conferences. That Big Ten is a joke of a fucking conference because it's always Ohio State and Michigan. That's why I like a guy in the SEC. They play all the top teams. Georgia, Alabama, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
This is why I wanted a SEC quarterback as a Jaden Daniels. And the reason why I didn't want a Caleb Williams, because our big rivalry is Green Bay Packers. And what he does against Notre Dame, he sucks. I don't care if it was one game. You don't throw 3 interceptions. I don't care what team he had.
Well, let's be fair, Woody. Let's be fair, Woody. What receiver did Caleb Williams have at USC?
A college receiver. Big fucking deal. Now he's going to the pros.
Let's ask him. No. Let's be comparatively speaking here. Caleb Williams' best receiver was Jerry Rice's son, who went, the 5th, 6th round of the draft? 5th round of the draft. That's a talent he had to throw to. And I'm not saying that he's going to be a trash receiver, but compared to what these other guys are throwing to, he wasn't as good. And Caleb, as much as I would have loved to keep Justin, first off, I'm trusting in Poles because he's given me no reason not to trust him. Yeah, hey, that happens from time to time, okay? But now he's got 2 proven ones, a third guy who could be a 1 anywhere else, a guy that your quarterback you really want to is throwing to all the time. And Williams was at USC. They won games despite not having a bunch of good receivers for him to throw to, him making stuff happen. I don't know. I mean, you got to give him a little bit more than just, he played in the wrong conference. He did a lot with little. He did what Justin Fields couldn't do in Chicago, but on the college level. Because Justin didn't do a lot with little here. He did good. He improved consistently. I'll give him that. But he didn't do a lot with little, whereas Caleb did a lot with little at USC.
Well,
Justin had no shot staying here.
Yeah,
that's a fact.
Well, like I said, this is what I'm afraid of. Like, if Caleb Williams turns out to be a great player, like 4,000 yards, whatever, I said they'd be 10-7 this year. I'll say I'll be the first one to say I'm wrong. But
I'll be the first one to ask you.
Yeah, you don't have to ask me. I'll say it to you. You don't worry about that. But I don't want him. I want him to come in and be a team player. Like I said, I was worried. I said it on the last show that last time Justin Fields, his first couple of years, he favored one player, and now we have all this talent on this field. I wanted to be a team effort, not just oh my God, now we got our quarterback, Caleb Williams, because a great quarterback can work in any aspect. Take Tom Brady. He had nothing in the beginning as well. He turned every receiver that he had into a better receiver.
I think Caleb's walking into a situation any number 1 pick or any first-round quarterback would die to get. And we alluded to earlier, J.J. McCarthy's got a great deal in Minnesota. He's going to a Minnesota team that's a very, very good defense, has a lot of good weapons offensively, right? Now, they think Hawkinson might start the year on the pup, and now they've got, of course, Tunyon, who's now completed his tour of the NFC North. It's funny, I heard some Viking fans say, Tunyon's going to return to his Green Bay form. My reply to them was, that's what we said. But still, he's got a almost as good a situation, not quite as good, but he's got a really good situation should he get playing time there. But I think, like, if you compare the 2 quarterbacks, Caleb Williams is a much better quarterback than J.J. McCarthy was. I mean, the draft shows that too. Jordan Love, put that back up, Mike. Jordan Love didn't really have anything last year, but he didn't figure it out.
No.
He didn't figure it out. You know who figured that out?
LaFleur.
Head coach LaFleur figured that out. LaFleur did a phenomenal job of putting his quarterback and his wide receiver by committee team into position to achieve maximum goals every time. He called the great game. He put him in the right position. But you saw games like against the Giants, where the Giants, it didn't work. It didn't work against everyone. But he.
Oh, they almost lost to the Panthers.
LaFleur did a good by committee up there. And like Christensen, I'm sorry, he's on a prove-it deal. If he doesn't play good this year, he's out of Green Bay. Romeo Dobbs is going to end up getting overpaid because he's a touchdown machine. But everyone else in the field, he's a non-issue.
Well, that's what I mean. That's what I'm talking about. Look what Jordan Love did with no talent. I know Reed's a great, he's going to be a great wide receiver in his career. But yeah, that's the example. That's what I want Caleb Williams doing, but we have all this talent. So,
yeah.
I mean, I would rather honestly come in with very mediocre talent to see what he can do. See what
Right.
he can do.
If he comes in with a Jordan Love type season like last season,
It's done.
It's over.
Like he had a rough beginning of the year.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a lack of talent or he had lack of work, but if Caleb Williams is like, you know, we have what, the fourth easiest schedule, so we really can't declare on that either. But say if he goes 3-6 in his first 9 games, it's locked.
Well, Jordan Love last year is funny. Someone brought the stat up on the morning show, I believe it was. Basically, anytime Jordan Love they were pinned back deep, they were 3 and out. If you pinned them, 20 or in, so 20, 15, 10, they were 3 and out. That's Jordan Love all year last year. Dre's right. Caleb has to put in the work. But even with Jordan Love last year, he still has a lot of work to do. Like if you pin that team deep, Jordan's terrible. They can't get out of it. They get stuck and they end up putting the ball away. Hopefully Caleb doesn't get in that situation. Now with this new kickoff rule, we may not see that situation. Maybe more from punts, right? That's where punters are going to be really important now. Caleb doesn't have to be a rock star this year. No. Caleb has to be
a game manager.
He has to be good.
He has to be good. Yeah. I don't say game manager, no. Good, yes. He has to be good. He has to be average good. He doesn't have to be superstar good. If he's average good, meaning he gets between 2,500 to 3,000 yards, average good, this is a playoff team with the talent and defense.
There's no excuses this year. I don't want to hear about the offensive line. We boosted up our offensive line. So I don't want to.
We don't want the center position. The only thing we got to worry about on the offensive line is this: do the left and right guards stay healthy?
Yeah, Jenkins has got to stay healthy.
Jenkins
has got to stop his holding.
Jenkins has to stay healthy.
Yeah.
We drafted some more depth. I really like the kid we got out of, the local kid. I think he's a good rotational piece. But they addressed the center position. Let's hope they addressed it and it pays off. Because like I told Lions fans yesterday, yes, kudos. You realized you had a cornerback issue and you went and you tried and you addressed it. At least you hope you addressed it. On paper, it looks like they addressed their cornerback issue. We addressed our center issue. Now let's see how it actually plays out on the field. But Caleb doesn't have to be, oh my God, out of this world good. He just has to be decent good. And this team, with the defense it has and the weapons it has, should win at least 10 games.
Now, should he be like a C.J. Stroud?
Again, C.J. Stroud, he had Dell. Dell had a good year until he got hurt.
Yeah.
Dell
was also a rookie.
Yeah, he had Schultz. He really didn't have anything down there. And he made those young receivers better. Yeah. And and they're going to be a tear this year. And we went through the predictions the other night, Sunday night, week 2. I had Houston beating us.
Yep.
That's gonna be a good game. And
it'll be a close game, but I still think they win.
Even Stroud last year had an iffy start, right? He didn't come out gangbusters. Even his first game was a little slow. CJ will have a sophomore slump. We like to say that about every guy. Like, look at sophomore slumps are real. We had guys on our team last year who had sophomore slumps. Some of them were noticeable, some not so much. Brisker had a sophomore slump. He was still really, really good, but he did have a slump last year.
Oh, Stevenson outshined him.
Now, see, if I had to compare, even though Jordan Love with the young receivers and stuff, youngest team to win a playoff team. If it had to be between the two, I would say Jordan Love would have a more sophomore slump than C.J. Stroud would.
Now, wait, what about Matthew's comment? He goes, plot twist, McCarthy and Williams are good and North host for playoff teams.
Not 4.
I mean, look, it's not impossible the way the league is structured now.
But
10 wins could get you the basement in this division.
I don't say. I still say Minnesota has some big missing pieces, and
where
I don't see them making the playoffs this year. But that's why they play the games. We don't know.
Okay, here's the problem. Last year we all ruled Quezzy out and said that they were done. And until Kirk Cousins' injury, they were fighting for the division, and they probably would have made the playoffs, and the Packers wouldn't have, right? If Cousins doesn't go down, we can't count Quezzy out. Quezzy may be crazy, but whatever his craziness is, it works. And they still have a very good defense.
And plus, I think Sam Darnold starts the year.
He does.
Starts the season, so we don't know when McCarthy's going to start. If they're rebuilding. I mean, they have their offense. They got the receivers and stuff like that. But
Matthew says basically they're just missing a defensive tackle, and that's it.
Well, consider we beat them with field goals last season.
Yeah,
that's with Danielle Hunter on their team. Just saying.
Yeah, but look, they got rid. Yeah, wait. You got rid of Danielle Hunter. Who had 12 sacks last year. You signed a guy, replaced him with a guy who had 8, and then you draft a guy who's the odds-on early bird favorite to be the defensive rookie of the year at edge. So, just get rid of Curse. Oh, they got rid of Curse. They're done. Really? I don't think so.
If they lose Justin Jefferson, they're screwed.
Even Harrison Smith, yeah, he's getting up there. He plummeted.
Okay, Matthew's got the better numbers there. I was a little off. Hunter had 16. Greenhardt had 12 and a half. So, did he really fall off? And then they got Verse, who's the odds-on favorite to be the.
They got Dallas Turner.
Or Dallas Turner, I mean.
Yeah.
Who's the odds-on favorite to be the defensive rookie of the year. So, okay, they lost Hunter, but that defense got better at the edge, not worse. And they have a great DC in Flores. So their defense is really, really good. And their offense, I mean, look at, don't sleep on Minnesota. Their defense is really good and keep them in games. And look at if Darnold can bring up his inner neck beard, right? And be Kyle Orton for a season, they can win 10 games easy with the weapons they got.
And they got Aaron Jones now.
Yeah.
Man.
They got a good tight. Now look at Hawkinson may be out. They may have to run with Tunyon. And Tunyon well underperformed for us.
They'll throw him a deep ball.
So
or Hail Mary, yep.
That team can score. I'm telling you that don't sleep on Minnesota. They could win. Look at 10 wins could put you in the basement in this division, which is scary. How jacked and loaded these teams all are on paper.
Yeah, I don't see 4 playoff teams though in the North.
No.
It's possible.
Did that ever happen before?
No, because the playoff format as it is now has only been this way for 5-6 years. So it hasn't. 3 teams, I believe, has happened.
And
4 teams, though. Look at basically at 4 teams, you're getting the 4 division champs, and then you're saying that all 3 wild card teams would come out of the North, and you're saying that they would all have to win at least 10 games in order for that to happen, and no one else can win more than 10 games. Then you get the tie breaks and all that. So, but you look at some of these other divisions, that's where I think it's more of someone else is going to win 11 games in one of these divisions. Like if you look at the East, Dallas might win the division, but Philly could win 11 games still.
I don't think Dallas is going to win that division. They're defaulting to. They have three very young running backs in Zeke.
But or even look at the West. I mean, San Francisco would say they win the division. Okay, is anyone else in the West capable of winning 10 games?
Rams.
No, their defense it depends on their defense. Look at the South. Okay, let's say Atlanta wins the South. Can Tampa win at least 10 games as well?
Yep, Tampa can win.
I see that.
So that right there, I think if we're then it comes down to all the tie breaks. So it's theoretically possible. I would say this might be one of your best shots of it happening this year because I think all 4 teams in the North are capable of winning 10 or more games. So this is probably one of the better chances. But then again, we said that last year about the AFC East. And then what happened? The Jets fell apart early after Rodgers gets hurt. New England, who we thought would be a much better team last year, completely did a 180 and sucked.
I think they're going to be worse this year.
Yeah, last year we were all like, hey, the Pats are looking like they're going to be pretty decent. Like They're going north. They're trending the right direction. And then the season started, and they went straight south. So
and that's the game I'm trying to go to. Bears, New England, November 4th.
The Bears finally beat the Pats, of course. Now that Brady's gone, that's always gonna be, yeah.
I still remember that game when Tom Brady was running right up the middle, and he faked Urlacher out of his cleats. Wow, I still remember that.
But go to Matthews. Was that Matthew who did that? Who asked that? Yeah, 4 playoff teams. I mean, look, this is probably the best opportunity a division's had in a while on paper of making that happen. I don't think it's going to happen because someone's going to win 11 games and come in second place in a division and be a playoff team. 10 wins may not get you in the playoffs this year. 10 wins could get you in the basement in the NFC North.
Yeah,
because the Vikings are still a good team. So, and the Bears, look, we might not win 10. I think we should, or it's kind of a waste, but, yeah, there we go. Yeah, I know. I sent to Stephen Thielen today. He's got a Bears page. In fact, he's got some jerseys on the way for us. Yeah, let us know if you want to come on Sundays. Of course, during the season, this will be the pregame show. And we have our normal show on Wednesday now at 8 Central. We changed the time to 8 Central, so I can make sure I get that right now. And of course, every Monday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Central, 11 to noon on the Woody time, East Coast. Yeah. We have Ken and Ken in the morning. A lot of stuff going on here. Of course, there's always a podcast on Roku or Fire TV with the network. There's a podcast on 24/7, so you can catch other shows live on Roku, live on Fire TV, live on our Facebook page for the Huddle Network as well. A lot of stuff going on, a lot of football being talked. This is that hard part of the season because really OTAs tell you nothing. Everyone except JJ McCarthy looked great at OTAs because JJ was.
Oh my God, he looked horrible.
But everyone else looks
so
great.
Bad.
OTA, I love OTAs because all the fans come out and say, "Oh, everyone looks great." And then camp starts. Everyone looks great. Yeah, last year at camp, Chase Claypool looked like the best receiver in the NFL. Where is he now?
Even Bayless looked good.
So, no, I think a positive for us is we've got the Hall of Fame game that gives us that extra preseason game, which should help the team be better prepared coming into week 1. I love that they have 4 preseason games. I think the NFL should go back to 4 preseason games because week 1 and week 2 right now have been absolute trash. But the players are going to get injured. No, the players aren't ready for week 1. Now they try to go 100%. And that's why players are getting hurt every year in week 1 in such huge quantities. So that's everything. That's why I give an advantage to the Bears on a week 1 with Caleb. I think Caleb might have a pretty decent week 1, and we can win week 1 against Titans, who are going through changes of their own. But what Harbaugh saw, Harbaugh said JJ's the best pro day he ever saw. Yeah, of course he did. It's a college guy. He wants to hype him up.
There's still guys out. There's still Bears fans who want Bagent to start.
Yeah, secret Bagent, man. Look he's jacked.
We'll see him in the preseason.
Oh, he will. I think he's a phenomenal backup.
Did you see his arms? He got jacked up off season.
Well, I think Bagent is going to be a very long-term backup for us unless the Bears can sell him off for a second-round pick or something.
That'll kick everybody's ass, man.
Chicago. But he's a perfect backup. Like the guy what we saw last year, he's got poise, he's got patience, he doesn't get flustered, he's got a good arm, he's got good awareness. He's the perfect backup for the Bears or for any team for that matter. I don't know if he's a full-time starter in this league, but he has a job as long as he wants it in Chicago as the backup. Yeah, I know.
He could be a French starter.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's a good starter if you're, Dre agrees he's the backup. I mean, he's the kind of backup you want. If, let's say you're going to lose your quarterback for 4 or 5 games, you can put him in for 4 or 5 games and your team's not going to suffer. It's going to okay. It might slow down, but he's still capable of winning you games, and it's not going to completely derail a team like some teams when their starter goes down. Like, look at Minnesota last year, completely derailed when they lost Kirk Cousins. So I mean, he's the backup that you can put in, and if it's a 5-game stretch, you can reasonably say you're going to go 3-2 or 4-1.
The Pasternak.
So, He's going to be a very good back, but that's also why we signed Ripken, because someone has to mentor our young quarterbacks. You can't have a second-year quarterback mentoring a rookie about the league. So that's why we got Ripken sitting there to be the basically the new guy we're going to cut and re-sign every week to be the third quarterback, and to hopefully give these guys some guidance.
I'd rather have his dad still.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, we have 33 podcasts on our network now on the Huddle Sports Streaming Network. We're looking for more. We have more time slots available. Contact Mike the Bear Fan, myself, the Huddle Sports Network page, and we can work. We've got some spots left on the schedule to fill people in. We're looking to basically we're be 24/7, but live shows basically starting 9 o'clock in the morning until about 9-10 o'clock at night every day. We got a lot of spots during the afternoon, Monday through Friday, of course. So drop us a line if you're a podcaster or no podcaster might be interested. We're looking to look at, Roku TV, Fire TV, as well as our Facebook outlets and YouTube outlets, of course. So if you're a YouTuber, we're just a bunch of knuckleheads who like to talk football. And here we are now with the, Fire TV and Roku channel that we're on TV.
Come next hockey season, I might want to start one up as well. We want to talk the other tough
some
sport.
hockey. Talk some hockey.
Hockey, yes.
So
still got NHL face-off.
Oh, yep.
Yeah. We do have a hockey show right now called Puck It. I love their name, Puck It.
I would just say the real thing.
Yeah, Osweiler got a nice contract. Bajan will get a nice contract too. I agree,
Well,
Matt.
look at Brock. Look where Brock is now. Talking stupid shit on fucking ESPN.
But I think Bajan would get. Dre's a Blackhawks fan. Too bad we didn't win the lottery. We got the number 2 pick though. Look, I think he's going to get a nice contract. He'll make that $7 to $8 million a year range as a backup, and he's a nice safety net. Matt Dorn. Dorn is going to have a soccer podcast. That's right there, Matt. That's a running joke from the morning show. Jeremy B on this morning says, put it this way, it's why the Lions drafted Hooker in the 3rd round last year. When's the last time a team had a quality backup? And good morning, JB. Yeah, I mean, look, if they really
Minnesota we know Case Keenum.
They want their Hooker. Look, they wanted to draft a wide receiver called Blow, so they could have Hooker to Blow be a combination, but just didn't work out for him this year.
Yeah. We could also set Kirk Cousins backing up Robert Griffin.
Yeah, that's why and Luke ended up being the better. I think they got an interesting situation with Hendon Hooker. I think Lions fans are going to be okay. They're saying, "Oh my God, look, you can keep Hendon Hooker for 2 more years and then dump him off for a 2nd-round pick."
No, let him sit behind Goff. Then he's going to come in like a Jordan Love.
Yeah, it's like they're assuming Hooker is good. That's true. We always got to assume until we haven't seen Hooker in an NFL game yet. But they'll say, well, look at Jordan Love we sat for 3 years. Look what he did when he came out, or 4 years. Look what he did when he came out. They'll sell it, and they'll get something for it. That'll be better than nothing. Nothing worse than a bad Hooker. Yeah, they're hoping they don't have a bad Hooker there in Detroit to go along with all their betting that they're doing there.
Very expensive.
And they got
Hooker.
Yeah, very expensive Hooker there. So, guys, that's going to about wrap it up for us today. Thank everyone for joining us. Don't forget the season's coming up quick. Don't forget Monday through Friday, Ken and Ken in the morning. We got our show, of course. We'll see you Wednesday at 8 for our show here for Halas Hall Report. But everyone have a great weekend. Be safe. Enjoy the outdoors. Do some barbecuing, and we'll see you later.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.